98.7 WFGR. That is nuts. Drift away. 6:59 on what you call a Tuesday. Time change this weekend, Dave.
Yes, I'm excited.
This is one of those things where they teach you in broadcast college, which is right next door to the Barber College.
Right.
That you need to remind people.
If you have a choice between the two colleges,
right.
I recommend the Barber College.
When you're standing there
More
outside
lucrative.
the doors of the correspondence school, that'll help you be a barber or a disc jockey.
Which direction should I go?
And
Well,
you get the feeling. You get
this
the
way
feeling.
I could get free CDs.
Right? You get the feeling like you can just see Ziggy standing up between those two doors going, which one would I like to do?
Oh, nothing is funnier, though, than the, career fairs at radio stations.
You know what? They have me come around and speak at career fairs.
Oh.
I politely put it as easy as I can to, look,
Don't do this.
You don't want to do
For
this.
the love
kids.
of God, do not do this.
I always try to talk them into production or...
Animal husbandry. Better career choice. Shepherd.
Actually, I do a lot of those career things, and I'm pretty good at them. I have fun. You know what I do when I go to a career fair? I bring my whole little mobile setup, and what I do is we talk a little bit about radio, we talk a little bit about audio production, and then I will let the kids produce a spot.
Yeah.
Right there, and I'll have a couple of the kids star in it, and I'll have a couple of kids pick the music out and all that kind of stuff. It's not a bad thing to do. Go to career day.
No.
But there's always that underlying tone where
You
voice
have to warn them.
where your voice is going doo 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 doo.
God.
Anyway, you got the windy, blustery kind of day going on
nasty
today.
out there.
If there are leaves left on the trees, guess what? There won't be after today. And this storm, which you haven't heard of, Frankenstorm.
I've heard of. Here's the thing. Everybody's heard of Hurricane Sandy.
Right.
Okay, we've all been inundated with that. I did not realize that some were calling it Frankenstorm. That is stupid.
Do you know why?
And if I did hear it, I would have completely forgot because it's that dumb.
Well, do you know why you forgot? Because
Why?
You isolate yourself.
I don't isolate myself. I watch a lot of television.
Dude, you watch reruns of the Brady Bunch and Three's Company, which leads me to my next idea.
All
I was
right.
talking to Matt yesterday.
Okay.
He sends me a note on Facebook, giddy about the fact he just got season 2 of Three's Company on DVD. And I'm like, dude, we
I'm
have
telling
really
you,
got to hook you and Dave up.
I would have
because
loved. Matt and I need to go to the Regal Beagle. We want to party with Larry, man, because he had all the babes.
you love those old TV shows.
There's an innocence. There's just a cool quality to it. It takes me back to my days as a kid.
Really?
Watching
'Cause-
that crap at 4:30 in the afternoon after you get home from school, because you could count on it. It was like clockwork. You could, boom, you come home. It's Gilligan's Island. It's the Brady Bunch. It's the Beverly Hillbillies. It's Three's Company. They were all. I mean, it was good. Now, was it horrible television in retrospect? Does it age well? No, it's obviously not good TV. But it's watchable, and it's a lot better than any of the reality crap that's on.
Because
it's better acting. Even as bad as the acting was, still better than the reality shows.
I go to watch some of those old TV. I can't even sit through them. I can't even.
Well,
I can't get 5 minutes of it because it's just so terrible. I look back at that stuff and it's like, wow, people actually watch this crap.
Yeah,
seriously.
There are some that All in the Family, still good. You check that out on Nickelodeon or TV Land, still a great show.
I don't like All in the Family, and I'll tell you why.
Close, pretty much the same.
I'll tell you why I don't like All in the Family.
Because your dad was Archie Bunker?
No, my grandfather.
Your grandfather? Okay.
Oh, yeah. My grandfather was so much Archie Bunker, he wouldn't even let that show on in the house.
That was a great show, a legitimately great show.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm just simply saying,
It was fantastic. And like
Sally
I said,
Struthers
it
makes me want to throw up.
Of course, she's annoying.
Just annoying.
Rob Reiner's annoying.
Meathead, he was terrible.
But Archie was awesome.
Yeah.
Archie was fantastic. Same with George Jefferson.
I got to think of what my favorite old show is.
Welcome Back, Kotter.
No. It was schlock. It was terrible.
Starsky and Hutch.
No.
Dukes of Hazzard.
I like that.
Fantasy Island.
I like that.
The Love Boat.
Yeah, who didn't like The Love Boat?
And
you know what was
Julie.
great?
I had a thing for Julie.
I always thought it was great because somehow Paul Williams found his way on the show every other week. Oh, look, it's that singing midget again. Hey, what do you know?
I loved Vic Tayback. Vic Tayback could be counted on as a guest appearance at least twice a month, pointing at the screen.
That's right.
Just like Ted Lange, your bartender, or Fred Grandy, your former congressman.
That's right.
Former purser on the Pacific Princess.
Anyway, I think for the rest of the week, Matt should come in here and do the show with you, and you can talk retro TV.
Because, dude, it was, like I said, in retrospect, was the acting bad? Were the shows bad? Of course. Compared to today, of course. But when you also compare them to a lot of the reality shows that we have on, it's not even close.
The reality shows aren't even shows. It's just film.
But I'll still watch any hokey episode of Three's Company over the Jersey Shore.
I'll tell you a show.
Or America's Next Top Model. Good God.
I'll tell you a show that has completely withstood the test of time. And I bet you can guess.
No idea.
Oh, come on.
America's Funniest Home Videos?
No, well, yeah, that's besides the point. That's just quality entertainment right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a show that a written, acted, and everything else show. What would you guess?
Miami Vice.
No. That was cool, though.
Yeah.
I
never actually saw one full episode of Miami Vice.
The Andy Griffith Show.
Andy Griffith's show was good.
Andy Griffith has completely cut the time barrier. You can show that show to a kid in today's day and age, and it still applies. Every single thing about it still applies.
My nieces and nephews still like the Partridge Family.
Ugh, I hated the Partridge.
My sister got that. I got them that on DVD. And they loved it.
You know what I really didn't like from back then? The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
I love Mary Tyler Moore. Are you kidding?
Hated everything about that show.
Ted Knight.
Ugh.
Murray
Awful.
Slaughter.
Ugh. Mary Tyler Moore. Ugh.
Mary was great. Ed Asner.
Ugh.
Lou Grant.
Terrible
the curmudgeon.
Show.
He was great. He's you, for God's sake.
Terrible
You're Lou
show.
Grant.
I hated that show.
God, I even liked Lou Grant, the spinoff.
I'll bet you did.
And Rhoda. Are you kidding me?
Yuck.
Oh, man.
You going to do some news here? We're going to talk about TV.
Well, we can talk more about that. We can talk schools closing, because that's what's going on in the Grand Rapids public school system. Creston High School will be closing, along with 9 other schools, in an effort to save $5 million. GRPS officials say they will close that and the other 9 schools after the current academic year. Closing Creston will net savings of nearly $2 million, with the district officials noting the school isn't even half full, and most of its students do not come from the surrounding neighborhoods.
Let me ask you this. What are they going to do with that building at that point? I mean, what do you do with Creston High School with the big gym and the... It's huge.
It probably.
Huh?
I don't know. Seriously, you probably knock it down. You're not going to put another school in there.
No.
No, not in that neighborhood.
All right.
I'm not saying that's a horrible neighborhood, but if they're not going to that school now, there's nothing you can do that's going to make people want to go there in the near future. So they're probably going to end up knocking it down.
Right.
Principal of Vicksburg Middle School is facing charges for allegedly having inappropriate contact with a former student who is a minor. The Kalamazoo Gazette reports charges have been authorized against Greg Tibbetts, who has been the school's principal for nearly a decade. He's been on administrative leave since late September. A few details have been released by either the district or the Kalamazoo County Prosecutor's Office. And waves on Lake Michigan will be huge today as a result of Hurricane Sandy in St. Joseph in southwest Michigan. The National Weather Service is predicting they will be as high as 24 feet during the day.
Wow.
While in Grand Haven, you can expect waves as high as 20 feet. Winds will be strong all over West Michigan, with the possibility of downed power lines and power outages. Of course, that's why you've got your generator ready to go just in case.
I was working on my generator yesterday. I'll be honest with you.
And you hurt your shoulder.
Yes, I did.
To start it.
Well, I've got this generator, and it's a nice generator.
Uh-huh.
It's a Yamaha, and it's really ultra quiet and all that kind of stuff. So if the power does go out, it's not going to drive the neighbors that nuts.
Right.
And you know what? The nice thing is, being the nice guy that I am,
you let them use it.
I would let them use it.
Hey, here's an extension cord.
If you got a chance to keep your refrigerator going, well, plug it in.
And he'll help you out.
I'll help you
out. No
out.
problem.
But I was out there yesterday, and since we don't use it that much, which you hope you don't have to,
right?
It's got an electric start on it, but it didn't. Of course, the battery didn't really work.
Of course.
So I'm out there pulling this thing and pulling and pulling and pulling, and finally, about the 50th pull, I get this thing to start, and I let it run for a good half an hour, and I'm like, okay, good enough.
And then you tore your rotator cuff.
Oh, my legs hurt, my arms hurt, and I just looked like that complete village idiot out there pulling. The only thing I was missing was
you're sweating all over the place.
Well, no, like the comb over that goes crazy. When somebody's really going nuts trying to get something done. That's about the only thing that didn't happen.
I just remember my dad doing that whenever he tried to fix the lawnmower. Yeah. His hat would be half falling off. Glasses dropped down all the way almost off his nose.
In all honesty, I got a cut knuckle out of it too.
It's like every profanity that's ever been uttered came out.
You were there. Wow.
Wall Street will remain closed today due to Hurricane Sandy. Trading on the New York Stock Exchange was shut down on Monday in advance of the storm roaring ashore last night. The NASDAQ has also issued a statement saying it will stay closed again today. Both the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ hope to be able to reopen tomorrow.
I haven't seen it yet, but I guess that David Letterman wanted to do the show last night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so good enough. He did it without an audience, and I guess he was trying to do the monologue, and they were saying it was like uber creepy because he was talking to nobody,
right?
And nobody was laughing. And he's like,
"That's the way it should have been."
Had there been an audience here, that would have been really funny.
I loved Letterman. I remember when I was 17 years old, back when he was doing his late night show, and back in the old days of the VCR, I used to set my VCR to tape it, and I could come home on my lunch hour at my senior year of high school, and I'd come home and I would watch it. It was funny. Honestly, he has not been funny in a good 10 years. Letterman's, and he was the cream of the crop as far as late night TV show hosts go. He hasn't been funny in 10 years.
I haven't watched.
Way past his prime.
I haven't watched it all, so
and Leno's just never been funny, and Conan's been okay. I like Jimmy Kimmel, but like I said, most of those late night talk shows, it's a tired, outdated format that probably should just go away.
I don't care for Conan O'Brien a bit.
Conan's okay. Conan can be really funny. Yeah. He's almost too smart for the audience, though.
That does nothing for me.
He's too, Well, that's because you're an idiot.
Of course.
So that's okay.
That's good.
All right. And the oldest nuclear power plant in the U.S. is on alert today because of the rising waters from the storm that was Hurricane Sandy. Inspectors were sent out last night to monitor the Oyster Creek nuclear facility in northern New Jersey. They're also checking on 9 other power plants in the path of the superstorm. The people forget about that. You got nuclear power plants at risk. Then you could have some serious problems.
Well, I didn't forget about that.
We don't need any meltdowns.
I was all up on the Frankenstorm thing.
Of course,
you, on the other hand, have no idea.
I swear to God, I have not heard of one. And I've been watching a lot of coverage of the storm. I have not heard anybody refer to it as the Frankenstorm.
Well, trust me.
That's just dumb.
Well, it's not dumb, and that's how they're referring to it.
All right, fine.
All right.
That's the news on 98.7 WFGR.
Mike Rowe here.